More hip pocket pain could be on the way for Australian households and businesses. A higher than expected hike saw the inflation rate rise by 7.3% in the year to November 2022. Joining us live now to crunch some of the numbers is Anneke Thompson, Chief Economist. Anneke, thank you for your time. What's your take on the latest inflation figures? Is it higher than what you were expecting?
Not necessarily. We've always got to remember when these inflation figures come out, they're backward-looking. So those price rises have already happened. We've already experienced them. I think the good news is inflation hasn't started taking off again. It seems to have sort of plateaued by the end of the year, which is not really surprising, and I think it's something the RBA was expecting.
So how much higher can we expect inflation to rise by by the end, I suppose, by this year?
Well, we get the quarterly figures out, I think, by the end of January, and I still think that would be a big number and quite possibly the biggest number we might have seen. We've had Black Saturday sales in that time, Christmas, obviously, lots of people booking holidays. Transport, inflation has taken off. We've got energy prices rising, and also rents and housing construction is still very high. So I would expect that inflation figure will be quite high.
You mentioned the Black Friday sales there. It's interesting, it really played a role in the retail data for November. It showed that the turnover rose in that month by a record 1.4%. Do you think the Black Friday sales were really the last hurrah for Australians when it comes to spending?
Yeah, I think, a lot of our retail activity has moved forward to November. It used to be a big focus on Boxing Day sales. So it's my feeling that would have been when Australians felt the last of their big savings that they built up over COVID. And, most people are expecting 2023 to be tougher, particularly businesses that we talk to. And I think, wallets will start to shut a bit more as we move it through 2023.
What is your prediction for what the RBA does at its February meeting? Will we expect the cash rate to rise by another 0.25%?
Yeah, look, unfortunately for borrowers, I think that will be the case. I don't think the RBA and, central banks around the world, for that matter, are going to take us this far and then stop. There's some good news in that inflation around the world seems to have plateaued, so those increases we saw throughout 2022 seem to have stopped. But look, I don't think they're going to take the foot off the pedal now. They're going to wait till we actually start seeing some downward movement in that inflation number.
So I suppose we'll continue to see the impact this has on housing prices. We've already seen this downturn occur. How much worse is it going to get?
Yeah, I think the house prices will be negatively impacted until we get sort of a clear indication that interest rate rises are going to stop. So, anyone looking to buy a house out there is going to be pretty hesitant when we don't actually know yet how high we're going to get in terms of interest rates. Once we see inflation start to drop, then we'll get a better idea of when we see those interest rates go on hold as well, and that will give some momentum to the housing sector.
Just finally, what does this latest inflation figure rise mean for business? You've mentioned that it is going to get tougher. It's already been quite tough for businesses, but what does it actually look like? Yeah, so one thing businesses need to be aware of in 2023 is just keeping a really close eye on cash flows. Most businesses have been operating, near close to capacities throughout 2022. So, lots of invoices and money ticking over. I think that dynamic will change, particularly in the second half of 2023, and businesses just need to be aware that conditions will change, and they've got to be really focused on their bottom line. And the people, they're doing business with, the creditors that they're doing business with, and make sure they're prepared, really. Anneke Thompson, thanks so much for your time today.
Thanks for having me.